Anthony from the Timepiece Gentleman arrested by the FBI. Finally, the saga comes to its conclusion. Now, I've done a couple videos on this. I'll leave them up here. Now, this is coming from both a person with an addiction background as well as a law enforcement officer outside of my watch review channel here on YouTube. So I like to bring this perspective from a few different elements. So let's hop right into it. Now, I'm going to lay out just the facts right in the beginning, then I'm going to give you my opinion at the end. Now, I personally am a police officer in America. Not only am I a police officer, but I'm actually a crisis negotiator, so I'm a negotiator.
Okay, all I want to do is just talk to you.
I am talking now. Did you or did you not ever dress up like a schoolgirl and get your ass spanked?
As well. So it's my job sometimes to talk to people, and I don't want to say manipulate them into, I don't know, giving up and coming out or releasing a hostage or possibly not killing themselves, but I know something about talking to people. All that being said, Anthony from the Timepiece Gentleman has created quite an uproar and stir in the last couple years. Now, I did a video, I want to say 4 years ago, where he first disappeared from social media. People knew that it was probably just a PR stunt, and surely it was. It was a giant PR stunt. He disappeared for a week, then came back, and supposedly he was given away to charity or whatever he was doing. Really, it was just a PR stunt to boost and bolster his brand. Then the Timepiece Gentleman scam exploded when suddenly people started coming forward to Paul Thorpe and giving their concerns about watches that they placed on consignment to the Timepiece Gentleman and Anthony, and how he said a bunch of stuff was stolen. And then finally, in a drunken mess, he admitted that he stole over $5 million from his own customers.
Or while I try to fix it. And, you know, it's gotten to where just living this fake lifestyle, this look at me, I'm smart, I'm successful, you know, keeping up the appearances, it's eating me alive. You know, I drink every night just to be able to go to sleep.
Now, right now, he's being charged with wire fraud, and the FBI, seized him and his assets, whatever he had left, and he's facing up to 20 years in jail. And when you take a step back and you look at everything from the outside looking in, and hindsight is always 20/20, it's easier to analyze some of the things that were going on and some of the red flags that we all know, that we all know. It's funny because we all can say whenever you see someone get arrested, you're like, you know what? There was something there. I knew there was something there, but nobody ever says anything. Only everybody says something after somebody's arrested or something massive happens, and everybody knows everything. And if you look from the outside looking in, because hindsight is 20/20, then yes, you could see there's red flags everywhere. There's no way he's making $400,000 a day or $400,000 in a week, and yet he's on social media and on YouTube doing these long form videos where they're supposedly making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. The largest watch dealers don't make that kind of money. And yet he was pushing this image that he was a big time baller, and people trusted him because they saw his face. They saw him moving money from one place to another, saw him selling watches, saw him purchasing watches, then selling watches. So people began to trust him with their own product. Now, he was living the high life, right? He was driving Ferraris. He was living in massive places, and he was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on food. He'd go to the nicest places. He would spend $30,000 at Salt Bay restaurant, and then he would post it on social media because he was living that big balling lifestyle. Now, what was he doing really? So if I were to send him a $50,000 Rolex Daytona, then he would take 5% of the sale, and then I would get the remaining. Right? That was the deal, right? It's my watch that you're selling for me, and you take a percentage, a fee of every sale. But what he would do is take photographs of it. He'd wear the watch on social media. He'd put it up on the website. He'd probably sell it instantly and then take the money for himself. And then what he would do is continue to send you messages, continue to leave the photos up online as if it hasn't sold, even though it sold maybe days or weeks or even a month prior. And what he would do then is he would continue to do this, continue to make excuses. I'm sure what he ended up doing, now this is just all speculation, is he would sell watches and then give money to some people, right? He would sell somebody's watch and give them money. So then they'd come back and do a larger sale, right? If I have a giant watch collection and I want you to sell my Submariner, and then you sell my Submariner and then I get a decent deal out of it, well, I used you, and now maybe I'll have you sell my expensive Rolex Daytona, or maybe I'm a big baller and I have a Richard Mille or a Hublot Big Bang or something, and I want to sell that now. Now you trust me, and now I'm a big fish and not just a small fish in the pond. That happens all the time, especially if you're around for any period of time. And that's probably what happened. Now, lifestyle inflation really does catch up with you. And I know a lot of people have said that he mentioned being like Mark Wahlberg over and over and over again, like he had the look of Mark Wahlberg. People would comment that he looks like Mark Wahlberg. And Mark Wahlberg is the baller in the watch community, especially when it comes to his watch collection. He has so many amazing watches in his watch collection, and he has made his money through acting, and Marky Mark kind of made money through Marky Mark, mostly through acting, and he's amassed this, and it's like Anthony wants to be like these people that he sells watches to, right? He wants to be the big baller, and yet he's just not there. So what he does is he puts on a mask. Now, with all the training I've had, I used to be a behavioral protection officer also before that, it's not difficult to see the cracks in the mask of a narcissist, which is exactly what it was. Now, even after he was caught, even after he admitted that he stole $5 million of his own customers' watches, what did he do? He put a video out there, then he put another series of videos, 6 videos, where he said, "This is me earning the money back."
The version that you saw of me yesterday was a version that was broken. I was I was on my last end. I was defeated. I was in what I honestly like to think I was at a rock bottom. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Today's video is a different version of me. The version you're going to see in this video is the version that's going to get me out of this mess. It's the version that gets me out of everything. Whenever I fuck up and I make a mistake, there is a side of me that knows what I have to do to fix it. I cannot change the past. It's out there. Everybody knows. Everybody's talking about it.
I messed up. Feel bad for me. Now I'm going to earn the money back, and I'm going to pay you guys back every single dollar. Well, one, if you guys know who Bruce Rivers is, Bruce Rivers, CLR, Criminal Lawyer Reacts, he always has a hat that says, "Stop self-snitching." And that's exactly what he did. He admitted to all this crime. He admitted to $5 million of fraud and theft. And then he was like, how can I make it back? And what he tried to do was continue to profit off this martyrdom with these new series of videos. He got absolutely smoked in those videos. People just gave him hell, and he disappeared off the map. And the funny thing is that even if he gets convicted, let's just say he gets convicted and he goes to jail for 10 years. Anthony has already been in jail. He is in no way a new member to the prison population. That's what was so great about his story. He was someone who spent time in prison, had addiction, came out, and made it big, right? Everybody loves the rags to riches story, not just rags to riches. Joe Rogan said it the best. People love when people are in a great place, then tank themselves, then recover back. Not rags to riches, but riches to rags to riches, right? Or middle class to rags to riches, right? People love the recovery superhero story, not just a superhero story. And I think that even if Anthony goes to jail for 5 to 10 years, he's going to get out and he's still going to have a plan. And what it reminds me of is Jordan Belfor from Wolf of Wall Street. That's who Anthony reminds me of. Now, Jordan Belfor, he no way is allowed to sell stocks or anything like that, but what did he do? Instead, he got out and he started to make millions and millions of dollars by telling a story and by giving people coaching when it came to sales, when it came to mentorship, when it came to that larger than life I'm going to be the man in the room type of mentality, if you understand what I'm saying. And that's kind of what Anthony reminds me of. He reminds me of Jordan Belfort and the fact that he's going to get out of prison at one point and he's going to start scheming again at the next big thing that he can make a buck on. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're going to start scheming in the beginning and then you get caught for it and then you scheme some more and you really get caught for it, and then finally you get back out on the street, who's going to trust you to not scheme again? But that's where Jordan Belfort really made a lot of his money out. He said, look, this is all out on the table. This is what I did. This was my crazy lifestyle. Of course you would do the same thing if you were in the same position. Now let me teach you everything that I can bring to the table. Then that's kind of what Anthony reminds me of. Trust me, I think that's going to happen. Anyway, I want to do this video now that he's arrested, now that he's being indicted federally. That is a massive difference from being indicted either through a municipality or state. Federal is like zero tolerance, especially if you are a felon to begin with. A felon, which he was, with more felonies, all that is going to be taken into consideration when he gets convicted and they come to sentencing, right? If his maximum is 20 years and they look at him and say, okay, you've had a history of X, Y, and Z and you've been convicted of this in the past and clearly you're not learning, he may get the maximum sentence simply because he has a record of similar things. Then the pure fact that he has not only stolen $5 million. Not only has he committed wire fraud over and over and over again, and not only has he not paid taxes on any of that earned income in which he stole, I have a feeling like Uncle Sam is not going to go easy on Anthony. Anyway, this was to wrap up everything that's going on. I'm not really going to talk about Anthony anymore. I just want to give my 2 cents while all this is kind of coming to light and give my impression moving forward. This is mostly a watch review channel. I do mostly affordable watches with some luxury watches sprinkled in between, as well as some random stuff like flamethrowers and shit like that. Anyway, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It really does help the channel. Let's grow this channel. Hit the like button. It really does help the algorithm, and hit the notification bell because a lot of people aren't getting notified when I drop these videos, and I'll see you in the next one.